Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are looking at the Studio Series Age of Extinction Leader Class Optimus Prime. There is a lot to do, a lot to talk about with this figure. So, let's get right into it with the box. Hold on. With the box. So, picking it up, we have all this stuff, the 44 steps. We got Transformers. I assume all this Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime stuff is showing down there. I can't see it. Got truck mode, robot mode, beautiful art. We got Transformers Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. On the side, you get a continuation of the render with the Autobot logo and Studio Series. You got Leader Class and all the different languages. On the side, you got Optimus Prime, no numbers, Optimus Prime, Transformers, Studio Series, Age of Extinction. On the back, you got product shots with Silver, Optimus Prime battles lockdown as he is hunted by Cemetery Wind. You get a sword, truck mode, robot mode, 44 steps. Transformers Authentics in the font of Age of Extinction, which I don't believe is normal. And once again, clear plastic. So now that we have the box done with, now let's look at Prime himself. Bonked my light there. Hold on. There we go. Hold up. I gotta adjust the camera. There. So first of all, the big complaint, the paint, or lack thereof. While yes, the silver is non-existent, it makes sense. The alt mode is painted like crazy, so that's where they spent all their paint budget. You can kind of see it here on the back with the red. All red on this figure is paint. All of it. Every single piece of red on this figure, I believe, is paint. Maybe the exception is these components right here, but other than that, everything red is painted. So it makes sense. The only place where the silver could have been used is right here underneath the elbows and the head. But even still, the head sculpt looks amazing. And pulling up the CGI render for Age of Extinction Optimus, he looks fairly accurate, a little bit bulkier due to the nature of this thing has to transform. But overall, he's very accurate for what he is. Now, the backpack is another complaint I've heard. But, for one, it has to transform within a leader class budget. It cannot pull a Unique Toys Challenger or something like that in a leader class budget. Unique Toys Challenger is a third-party Age of Extinction Optimus Prime that flips everything inside out like crazy in order to transform. It's actually really cool to watch. So a backpack is necessary. And here's the thing with the backpack. You can, if you want to, hold on, you can take it off if you feel so inclined. Hold on, the camera. If you feel so inclined, you can, in fact, remove the backpack. So you have two options. Keep the backpack if you're really super duper crazy against the parts forming, or you remove the backpack and take advantage of the optional parts forming. That keyword optional. Parts forming is not necessary for this figure. It is a choice that you can make, and I really like that they did that, because for the people who don't care about parts forming, they can parts form it and get a clean robot mode. The people who do care about parts forming, they can keep him with his backpack, and it doesn't really hinder his articulation too much. camera. Now, accessories. He comes with a sword, a shield, a sheath, and an arm blade. We will look at the sword first. It is quite large, almost as tall as the figure itself. You can peg it into the opening hands. So how it goes is you open up Prime's hand and you just snap the sword in and close it. And there we go. He is wielding his blade. You can also remove the hilt so it can be held by other figures. And you can store the sword on the back by use of the sheath. You flip up that panel, take the sheath or the hilt or whatever you want to, or the store thing or whatever you want to call it. You peg it in and slide the sword in, tilt that, and you can tilt that panel a little bit back. So while, yes, it does lift that panel, it is a really nice and cool look to have the sword stored like that. Let's leave it there for now for reasons. So, while I wish the sword tabbed into the sheath a bit more, because it is a bit wobbly back there, it still works fine. Now the shield. The shield is amazingly detailed, and the red core here really helps it pop. And this is segmented. It's kind of hard to get the first piece off, but once you do, the second piece is a little bit easier. And there are your shield segments. This is how it transforms into its little inbuilt gun mode, and while yes, I wish with the leader class budget these were either on sliders or on double hinges, this is a way to get it done. It can, of course, tab into the side of the arm and look really cool, or it can tab into the back. You could either just remove this whole assembly and peg it in, or you can peg it in here so that the shield and the sword are both being stored. And that looks really nice and really cool. Let's remove all of this for convenience sake. So, we get to now the final accessory, which is the arm blade. It is fully painted in silver and looks really nice. You can tell because of the blue handle here. He can hold it, of course, but you tilt the hand in and you see that slot, and you peg that tab in, straighten out the hand as much as you can, and boom! Blade. It's not the most secure connection in the world, but it is a connection, and it will do just fine. Where did his... There it is. Now then. Articulation. His articulation is really good, honestly, for what he is. The head is on a ball joint, can look up, down, it can tilt a very fair amount, and can rotate left and right. The shoulders can pull a full 360. The shoulder pads hinge up to allow the arm to go out, and you can shift them back. You get a full bicep rotation. Due to transformation, you get a double bend at the elbow that goes all the way. You get a wrist swivel, a wrist hinge, which is not used in transformation, and you get opening hands, so that's a specialty joint. No ab crunch, but due to the way he transforms, it makes complete and total sense. Lift up the hip skirts to access the waist swivel, which can, even with the backpack, rotate a full 360, although I wish the hip skirts were attached to the waist because collapsing them can look weird at some points, but there you go. Let's just leave these up for now. Hips can kick forward that far. Well, actually, no, because that unpegs all that. They can kick forward this far, back about that far. If you remove the backpack, they can go all the way back. They go out. You get a thigh rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the knee, ankle swivel for transformation, ankle tilt, and a toe and heel down. So he is very articulated for what he is, even with all of his bulk and stuff. Now, let's do size comparisons. So, I have a couple size comparisons to do. Come on, peg in. There we go. And they're not like crazy size comparisons. We have the original Age of Extinction Bumblebee, which does not scale at all and is not a great figure. What he does scale well with, and I'm sorry if the camera angle is a bit weird, I'm adding this in post because I forgot, is the Studio Series The Last Night Hot Rod. If I can get him to balance. These two scale really nicely. And he fell over. Great. We have the Studio Series 38 Voyager class Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, who is a little bit taller than this guy but has a much less complex transformation. This guy's leg transformation actually reminds me a lot of this guy's leg transformation. You can go check out that review, but it's an oldie. It's an old one, so it's there, but it's old, so. Then finally, for size comparisons, we have 86 Optimus, who is once again a bit taller, but this guy being short makes sense because his transformation actually has more steps. So, okay, one thing, when I got him out of the box, his doors were not situated properly. The doors were situated like this. And what you want to do is bend them one more click. They're on indented ratchets. It's gonna feel scary, but they do go all the way in. And then these tabs go into those slots. It's gonna feel scary to bend them all the way in the first time, but they do bend all the way. Now, transformation. Let's start with the backpack. So you straighten out the doors, fold this up, rotate it 180 degrees, shift this also. It is shifted down when you get out of the box, and shifting it up for the first time requires an incredible amount of force. It gets a lot easier as you do it, but the first time you do it, it is scary, so make sure that's shifted down. Bring out the front grille, shift the doors down, peg the top into place, and there's the backpack all prepared. Pull this backwards, bring this out, and it will untab this whole thing. Next, you shift this up. Make sure the front goes over these. It can and will get caught there, so make sure it goes over that. Then you want to collapse this panel until it snaps in. Compress the side hip skirts. Shift them up to there. Now we can work on the arms. So shift this panel down, bring that additional panel out, flatten it out, rotate the bicep 180 degrees, compress the elbow. This slot will go into that tab. And then you take the shoulder pad, make sure it is fully collapsed downward, and there's a slot in there that'll go into that tab. If it is not collapsed fully down like this, it will pop out of that tab. So let's do the same on the other side. And bang. Let's put you down so I can move the camera back. So now you want to take this and shift it into there. Take the front and collapse it and peg it into place. Next, you want to take the arms. There are little clips in here. There are tabs in there that'll go into those clips. Sometimes it's louder of a click than others, but get that clipped in. Same on the other side. See that. And then peg the arms together. Bring up the front hip skirt. Rotate the waist, and we're done with the upper body. Let's do the legs now. Collapse the feet straight. Make sure they're fully straightened out. Rotate the thighs inward 90 degrees. Bring out this piece on both sides. Flip this assembly out and bring that whole thing out while folding in the trailer hitch. Do the same on the other side. Second verse, same as the first, as MGO would say. Now we can peg it all together. So there's a tab here, slot here, a bunch of locking mechanisms here, and a bunch of locking mechanisms up there. So make sure everything is fully lined up. You will have to push the trailer hitch from the bottom to make sure it's lined up properly. Snap that in. Now you want to shift this up, shift these panels in, bend this backwards and fully collapse it. This tab will go into that slot there. So just slide that in, and these side pieces will line up. Rotate the feet 180 degrees. Bring them forward. Take the wheels, shift them up, and tab them in. Then you shift these back and peg them in. There is a slot here that these two tabs will go into. There's the slot, there's the tabs, and this big old tab which will go into that slot. And you want to make sure that that double hinge is compressed all the way back up to here, or else it won't. That happens. It's the first time that's actually happened, but whatever. Then you do the same on the other side. And boom! Truck. Truck mode is amazing. The paint is all here. Everything red is painted. So now we kind of see why the robot mode is lacking paint. And you got the silver up here. You got the silver up here. So all the paint is in the truck. So the way the legs transform is really cool. And given the 5mm trailer hitch, he is compatible with trailers. So I have the 86 trailer here. So let's peg that on. And oh yeah, it doesn't fully fit in frame, but oh yeah, that's a look. That is a look for Optimus. So the sword and the shield also go on the trailer hitch, and the arm blade tabs into that tab there. But overall, this is an amazing truck mode. With all 6 wheels pinned, he rolls absolutely amazingly. So yeah, great truck. Now, size comparisons. Here we have the Age of Extinction Bumblebee, and once again, these two do not scale. What does scale, though, is him next to to The Last Night of Hot Rod. I like this scale. Next up, we have SS38, and once again, I do feel that their leg transformations are quite similar. And finally, the one and only Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. And this is definitely not as heavy and dense as this, but it's still really nice. So now we can get into some final thoughts. Overall, I feel this is very much worth the current leader price of $54.99 US. However, the future tariff price of $69.99 US is much harder pill to swallow. I'm not trying to get political here, and I don't want this to be made political, because I don't like talking about politics at all, but prices are going up, and how much people are getting paid is not. It sucks, but we have to accept it. As collectors, we must carry on. Show Hasbro our support so they continue this incredible Transformers toy line. So, till next time, my fellow Cybertronians, goodbye and good night.